Hey everyone, welcome to the last episode of my 31 Days of Halloween challenge, or whatever you want to call it. I had a few viewers ask me to do or suggested that I do the 31 Days of Halloween watch list, whatever. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, so I've watched 31 spooky or horror related films for the last 31 days. I've watched one a day. And we're at the last thing. We're at the last video. So happy Halloween to everyone. This video is happening on Thursday, October 31st. So I hope everyone has an awesome Halloween. Get dressed up or watch some scary movies or hang out with your friends or your family or hand out treats to the kids at the door or go to a party. I don't know what people do. I guess I usually watch like a scary movie. I usually watch Halloween, actually. That would be my preferred thing, and just have some snacks. But so yeah, so I hope you have a good Halloween. And without further ado, I will share with you my last 4 movies that I watched for the 31 Days of Halloween, and then I'll do a really quick recap of everything I watched in case you saw my previous videos and had forgotten the titles and you want to write them down to check them out. So the first movie I watched was on October the 28th. And this film is called In a Violent Nature, which I've heard a lot of things about, but I've never actually gotten around to watching it. This is a film from this year, directed by Chris Nash, who did some other stuff that I'm not familiar with. It stars Rye Barrett, Andrea Pavlovic, and Cameron Love. This is a Shudder production with a few other companies involved. I think IFC was one of the distributors or something like that. This film was made in Canada, in Ontario, near, according to the internet, near Sault Ste. Marie. Now, so I did not like this movie. I'm just gonna be blunt. It's not my thing. I heard some people say that it was really slow, and so I was like, okay, well, that's not a problem. But it was boring. And when I was doing the research for this review, I discovered that it's considered slow cinema, which is like apparently a subgenre. I saw like Solaris and Stalker were included in examples of slow cinema. I don't know. A lot of people were saying this was a great movie. I don't get it. This is kind of like Skinamarink. I was like, what are you people talking about? This movie sucks. I'm sorry. It just does. It's just not good. It's like, when I was watching it, I started giggling because I thought, this is Jason Voorhees ASMR is what it is. You're just following this Jason Voorhees looking character through the woods, and I will give it, there was one really great kill in it, which if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. It's on a cliffside, but other than that, I was dumbfounded by how slow and boring and overinflated some of these other reviews that I heard were, because this movie practically put me to sleep. I don't know, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe it is a really good movie and I just don't get it. But it was like Skinamarink for me. I got like halfway through Skinamarink and I just couldn't get through it. I did get to the end of In a Violent Nature. Did it pay off in the end? Not really. I guess it had a couple of good kills, but otherwise you're just walking behind a killer wearing, by the way, a goofy looking mask. Yeah, not my thing. So slow cinema, I guess. I don't know. Now, I do have a copy of Solaris, I've seen it. And I think I've seen Stalker as well. I think those are those Russian movies, but I don't remember falling asleep watching Solaris, but I don't know. Tell me what I'm missing, guys, because I just don't get it. I feel like, I've heard a few other YouTubers talk about toxic positivity, and I mean, this is Canadian made, so I should be supporting my fellow Canucks, but I just can't get down with this one. Sorry, just not my thing. This currently has a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, so it seems like it gets kind of mixed to good reviews. But yeah, just not my thing. Which is weird because I do like art house movies and weird stuff, and I do like, 80s slasher movies, but this one just put me to sleep. So anyway, sorry to Chris Nash. I'm sure you're a wonderful person, and apparently they're making a In a Violent Nature Part 2, so we'll see. Maybe maybe if they pick up the pace a bit. I don't know. I feel I do feel bad, like, crapping on movies, especially when they're like independent Canadian movies, but I just couldn't get it. But anyway, let's move on, because obviously I'm just like rambling at this point. The next film I watched on DVD, and it was a movie, surprisingly to some, that I have never seen, and that was The Bride of Frankenstein. Yes, a first-time watch for me. I've seen all of these guys, but had never watched The Bride of Frankenstein, believe it or not. That was on October the 29th. This is directed by James Whale, who also did the 1933 Invisible Man, as well as the original Frankenstein from 1931. This stars the incomparable Boris Karloff, Colin Clive, and Valerie Hobson. The budget was approximately $397,000. The box office was approximately $2 million, which in those days, 1935, this movie came out, was pretty good money. Bride of Frankenstein was released to critical and popular acclaim, and although it did encounter some, apparently, just talking about Terrifier 3 the other day, this movie also in 1935 came up against some censorship issues, because there's a line in the movie where they compare Dr. Frankenstein to God, and apparently the censorship people did not want that in the movie. They didn't want that line in the movie. So I can't remember now if I think it's still in the movie, but apparently it came up against some people who did not like that, as many films back then did, all the way up into the 80s and 90s. But but it anyway, the movie succeeded. Of course, it's a classic now of the Universal Monster series. It has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm not going to say it was my favorite of... I know a lot of people say this is their favorite Universal Monsters movie. I thought it was good. The Bride, I don't think I'm spoiling anything. This movie came out like a long time ago, but The Bride is not actually in the movie that much. Only towards the end. And Frankenstein talks in this movie, and now I get where they did the if anybody watching this grew up in the 80s and 90s watching Saturday Night Live, you remember that I can't remember what actor it was that did the Frankenstein, but they used to have this, I guess it's probably politically incorrect now, but they had like Frankenstein, Tonto, and like a caveman or something, and they used to sing songs. In fact, there was a Christmas one, I think. But Frankenstein would sing the same way Boris Karloff sings in this movie, which is like real slow, and it's very simplistic sounding. It's hard to explain, but when I was watching it, I thought, oh, that's where they got, like, maybe it was Kevin Nealon, maybe, where they got that thing for that skit on SNL, because it was Frankenstein. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like, it's comparable to the other Universal monsters of that time. I'm personally more of a fan of Creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula, but I could see where this movie would have its audience and its appeal. The makeup was really good. I guess I forget that guy's name. Was it Dick Smith that did the makeup? That he tried to purposely make Frankenstein's makeup look like post Frankenstein, so there was like burn marks on his face from the ending of Frankenstein stuff. So I thought that was kind of a cool continuity thing. And it had some charming scenes in it, like when Frankenstein goes to this cabin and meets this blind man, and the blind man takes him in. He doesn't know he's Frankenstein, so he takes him in, and then of course the townspeople come looking for Frankenstein, and the blind man doesn't know why they're all upset. They're like, he's just a nice, wandering fellow. So there were some like sweet scenes in it, but I can't say it was my favorite. I would definitely prefer like the original Frankenstein over this, but still a good movie. And as we get further and further into time and these movies grow further and further apart from us, it's kind of, I find it weird or hard to like objectively talk about them in a critical way because it's just so different now. I mean, we're talking almost 100 years later. It's like, so by today's standards, I mean, probably a younger person would watch this and be like, what is this goofy crap? I have some appreciation for black and white and older movies like that, but yeah. So again, maybe you're looking for a Universal monster movie or like an old timey monster movie to watch this Halloween. This would be a cool one on like if it was a stormy Halloween night. This would be a really cool movie to watch. Cool movie to watch anytime, really. It's well done, and again, though, the bride, which I was really looking forward to seeing the bride, she's really not in it that much. So you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and maybe they were trying to build that anticipation. But my complaint about some of these other movies where they don't show the monster enough. There's a fine line there, There's a fine line. But yeah, it was cool. I'm glad I watched it. Can't say I would probably revisit it a lot, but it was enjoyable. So that was October 29th. October 30th, I watched a videotape. My last two were actually VHS. This one I bought a couple of years ago and I've never gotten around to watching it. It's Stephen King's Night Shift collection. It's 2 stories on one tape. The Woman in the Room, directed by Frank Darabont, and The Boogeyman, directed by Jeff Shiro. I thought this tape would be more valuable than it is. I guess you can buy it off eBay for like $10, but because I have never seen this around, I don't know if it's like rare or what, but I know a lot of these Stephen King shorts did not get released on physical media, so not that I bought it, to resell, but I was kind of curious. I was like, oh, this is probably pretty sought after, but no, it's not. And after watching it, I guess I kind of understand why. So this has 2 stories on it. The Boogeyman, directed by Jeff Shiro from 1982, and The Woman in the Room, directed by Frank Darabont from 1983. Darabont, of course, went on to write adaptations and direct 3 other Stephen King, The Mist, The Shawshank Redemption, and The Green Mile, all great movies in their own right. So I didn't know much about this, and some of you Stephen King nerds or horror nerds out there know that there was this thing called the Dollar Baby or the Dollar Deal, which was an arrangement between Stephen King, and it would grant permission to students and aspiring filmmakers to adapt one of his stories for $1 American dollar. But King, of course, would retain the rights to the work, but it would kind of like help the next generation of like creative like movie makers and things like that to get these projects made and hopefully help them elevate them to like bigger things, which of course I guess in Frank Darabont's case that worked in his favor. So this is apparently 2 of those stories. I guess they were these Dollar Baby movies or Dollar Baby stories, and they went on to produce these. Like they look like shot on video, like early 80s TV kind of. They've got that vibe going on. The acting not that good. It doesn't actually list on here any of the actors or anything like that, and I actually found it really hard to find any information about this online, but yeah, the first story, The Woman in the Room, is like there's this mother, she's in the hospital dying from cancer. Her son comes to visit her every day. He's a lawyer, I guess, and it says on the back here, after a disturbing talk with one of his death row convict clients, he comes to a shocking and final decision about what to do about his mom. This was not delivered well at all. I kept waiting for it to be scary or like tense, and it just never happened. and it was just really boring. The Boogeyman, which I didn't know that movie that came out last year, The Boogeyman, was also based on the Stephen King story, but from what I understand anyway. But this is like a dad, Lester Billings, and his kids. They're having like they're get like having these night terrors about the Boogeyman, and then it's like this Lester Billings guy talking to his shrink, and I don't know. It says Lester is about to learn that some childhood fantasies are best left where they belong, in the dark. The guy that played Lester Billings, I'm sorry, but his acting was really bad. He was trying. He was doing the best he could with the material, but I thought it was really bad. It was really bad. It reminded me of like porn acting, like that kind of just really bad, over dramatic, like it was just really god awful. I will not rewatch this. I'll probably try to sell this for $10. But although I think I saw a few that were on sale for like $6. I don't know. Maybe I'll get nothing. But yeah, I won't watch this again. I like the Green Mile and the Shawshank Redemption and the Mist. But this is early Frank Darabont. I just don't think he was up to speed here yet. Not a bad, I would say his story of the two was better, but real boring, real straight to TV kind of feeling, vibes, the just the shot on video type, it's just not my thing. I guess I was expecting more. Now I know the Boogeyman movie that came out last year, I heard a lot of people kind of not saying that it wasn't that great, but I'm kind of curious because I didn't mind the story. I thought the story was kind of cool, but I just don't think the execution was very good. I don't know anything about Jeff Shiro, but anyway, that was Stephen King's Night Shift collection. Let me know if you saw that or what you think of it. I just not my thing, I guess. Yeah, so I didn't do very well. In a Violent Nature, Bride of Frankenstein, Stephen King's Night Shift collection, no. And then finally, thank God, today, this morning I watched Prison. Yes, horror has a new home. So this was my Halloween day movie watch. I'll probably be handing out candy maybe tonight or something, or maybe I'll just be watching like a drama, or maybe I'll watch a Hallmark Christmas movie to cleanse the palate, because I've been watching horror movies for 31 days straight, and boys, do I need a break. But yeah, this was my final movie for this this watch. And yeah, this was actually the winner, I would say, of the last 4 movies I watched. This movie came out in 1987. It was directed by Rennie Harlin, who's probably a lot of you know his name. He directed A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Die Hard 2, and I didn't know this, but he's directed and or directing the new Strangers trilogy, so I didn't know that. This movie stars Lane Smith, Viggo Mortensen from Lord of the Rings, Chelsea Field, and Kane Hodder, who also played Jason in a couple of the Friday the 13th movies. This film was shot on location in the former Wyoming State Penitentiary. Apparently the budget was in the millions. On Wikipedia, it says between $1 and $4 million was the budget, and the box office was $354,000 approximately. This movie currently has a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. This is the movie Prison. Yeah. In 1956, inmate Charlie Forsythe swallowed 60,000 volts of electricity for a murder he didn't commit. When Creedmoor Prison is reopened after 30 years, it has not been standing empty. Charlie Forsythe is back, still charged with electric heat, waiting for Sharp, the man who stood by as Forsythe rode the electric chair. So this movie, yeah, this kind of gave me the Shocker vibes. I'm trying to think of other movies that might fit in. But yeah, it wasn't really scary, but it was, I thought, a very well done movie, actually. And I know a lot of people joke about Rennie Harlin and that, but I actually thought this was a pretty solid little movie. Viggo Mortensen looking super cool in here. I thought like some of the, I guess some of the effects were pretty cool. There was a scene where two of the inmates, or one of the inmates, gets burned alive, and like the burn makeup that they did for him after he died was like really grisly. Um, it was a bit of a slow burn, I'm not gonna lie, but I was pleasantly surprised by it. I thought it was pretty. I was pretty engaged actually with it. That's the word I was thinking. I was like, I watched this from beginning to end. Like I only took a break to make some tea, but otherwise I was like fully engaged with this movie. It was like pretty like alluring and kind of mysterious, and the electricity going through the prison and the power going out and the inmates rioting, and it was kind of very well done actually. Trying to think of what else I can say about this movie. This was produced by Erwin Yablans, who I know did a lot of other stuff, and Charles Band was an executive producer. So when I saw Charles Band's name, I thought, oh, I might be in trouble here. But surprisingly, this was a pretty fun movie. This is from a video from New World Video. This is an old tape. This is from that day I went in and found like the Asphyx and like what was that one? Terror Train or something. I got like a big stack of like kind of cool older VHS. This was one of them. There's a picture of oh yeah, that part. Oh, that part was really gross. That's like one of the prison guards gets like the barbed wire comes to life and it like wraps around him and he's bleeding everywhere. That, ooh boy, look out kids. Boy, that was a scary. I noticed nobody comments about my SCTV references, so maybe it's going over everyone's head except for Corey. But yeah, cool movie. Would recommend this if you like kind of supernatural prison movies. I don't know who that demographic is, but it was cool. I guess like a double feature with Shocker or something along those lines would be fun. But this movie a bit more serious, I would say, than Shocker, but not a bad little watch and not a bad way to end my 31 days of Halloween. So quickly, because this video is going to run long, my 31 days of Halloween watch list. So October 1st, House with the Clock in Its Walls. October 2nd, Omen Part 4. October 3rd, October 4th, Red Riding Hood. God, it feels like forever ago since I watched these. October 5th, the Bug movie from the 70s, Bug. October 6th was The Howling 2. I honestly can't even remember that movie now. October the 7th, The Initiation. So yeah, maybe I'll give you like my high recommendations. The Initiation, great movie. October 8th, Mischief Night. October 9th, Hocus Pocus. October 10th, Maxine. Yeah. October 11th, Edge of Sanity with Perkins. Yeah, that was not too bad. October 12th, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say, unless I see something better on the rest of this list, Salem's Lot 2024, hands down my favorite movie on this watch list. If you have not seen that yet, go check it out. It's a really, I don't want to overhype it, but that I really like that movie. I had a lot of fun with that movie. October 13th, The Dark Half, the Stephen King film, or based on the Stephen King story. October 14th, Frankenweenie, both the live action short and the animated full-length film. October 15th, Sleepaway Camp 3. October 16th, VHS 2. October 17th, Parents with Randy Quaid. Excellent. Super fun movie. October 18th, Sleepy Hollow. Always a classic for me. October 19th, Phase 4, Wicked 70s, slow burn sci-fi. I wonder if that falls under slow cinema. October 20th, The Woman in Black, the 1980s, if I want to say. The British one. October 21st, Scream and Scream Again. Have no idea what that movie was. What was going on there? Not good. October 22nd, The Rage, Carrie 2. Surprisingly good. October 23rd, Terrifier 3. for all you gore hounds out there, playing in cinemas currently. October 24th, Monster Squad, if you're looking for some lighter fare. October 25th, Spirit Halloween, the movie. October 26th, The House That Dripped Blood. Some of those, it's an anthology film, as you may have remembered from a video back. Great little horror anthology from the 70s. October 27th, Black Xmas from 2006. October 28th, In a Violent Nature. October 29th, Bride of Frankenstein. October 30th, Stephen King's Night Shift Collection. And October 31st, Prison, the 1987 film with Viggo Mortensen. So that was my 31 days of Halloween watch list. I hope you've enjoyed my my list and my thoughts on these films. I have a really hard time when I'm like tough on a film like In a Violent Nature. I feel kind of bad, but maybe I'll watch it again and I'll have different feelings. Maybe I'll wait a couple of years and watch it again and have different feelings. But yeah, that's it. I would say for sure the 2024 Salem's Lot and Terrifier 3 were probably my all-time favorites of this month. I'm not saying they're my all-time favorite movies, but I thought that of all the 31 movies I watched, those ones are definitely my high recommendations. But yeah, there was a few duds in there, of course. Omen 4, Hocus Pocus, I know. I know a lot of people love that movie. I just didn't get it. But I did not grow up with it either. So Sleepaway Camp 3 was not a good film. And again, I know there's lots of Sleepaway Camp freaks out there, but not for me. VHS 2, which is a found footage movie, I found that one really almost unwatchable, very unsettling. Oh yeah, I would also say Parents with Randy Quaid from 1989, another great surrealistic horror comedy. Yeah. So that's it for me for my 31 days of Halloween watch list. Let me know if any of those movies are on your list, or if they're movies you love or movies you hate. Leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks to the recent folks who have commented and left some cool comments. Yes, I am definitely looking forward to Nosferatu on Christmas. Around Christmas, I'll probably go Boxing Day. So that's definitely, I'm excited for that. I just placed my order with my mom for my Christmas Blu-ray. So last year she said, I've got $100 to spend on you. What do you want? And I ordered like 3 horror Blu-rays and it made my Christmas. So this year I picked Black Sabbath, the Mario Bava movie, anthology movie. And I also picked Rawhead Rex because I don't have that in my collection and I would like to have it. I know it's not a super awesome movie, but I have kind of a soft spot for it. So I'm hoping maybe Santa Claus, Mummy Claus will put those under the tree for me. Well, we'll see, I guess, at Christmas, but that's a ways off. It's Halloween. We gotta embrace the season. I know a lot of people will probably be really sad when it turns November because, but we can keep the Halloween spirit alive with our horror collections and our decor, and we can still talk about horror movies. So of course, don't be too bummed out because horror is always around, no matter what time of year it is. In fact, Christmas horror will be coming up soon, and there's also now Thanksgiving horror, and Black Friday for Black Friday horror, and then there's all the Christmas horror movies. This year I've got a Christmas Bloody Christmas I bought on DVD last year, and I did not open it. I think I must have bought it into the new year, so I thought I'll save that for Christmas. So I definitely have that on my watch list, but that's for another time. I hope you enjoyed this series. It was a lot of work, but it was fun, and I got all these movies, pretty much all of them were movies I had never seen before, so that was kind of a cool way for me to finally get off my butt and go watch some of these movies that have been sitting in stacks for a long time. So that was kind of cool. Can't say I really discovered a lot of amazing stuff from those stacks. I guess like The Woman in Black, the 80s one, was really cool. Let's see if there's any other ones here. Edge of Sanity was pretty cool. That was a DVD that I had bought. The Initiation, that was also another excellent movie. So there's definitely some recommendations in this video for you to go back and check out. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with another video. I'm probably going to take a week off at least, just to kind of reconfigure and figure out what I'm going to do next. But I will be back with some more content soon. And in the meantime, if you missed my previous videos, I did do 31 Days of Halloween. So there's a playlist with all of the videos on there, so you can go and watch them week by week. And that's it for me for today. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, I will see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. Maybe I'll see you trick-or-treating tonight. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.